Hello, beginning farmer friends. It is fall. Like, it's November 1st today, and it feels like November 1st. All week long, we're supposed to have temperatures in the 40s. I've got a sweatshirt on, a sweatshirt underneath it. It's my kind of weather. I am enjoying it, although a little breezy. I wish it wasn't breezy. Here's what we've got going today, and then I just really want to talk to you about the farmers market. A while back I did a video about our non-GMO soy meal and how it was difficult to get, and I was questioning what do we do, non-GMO, organic, not any of those things, just whatever we can get from the feed mill. Well, I found a dealer-ish kind of, I mean, it's a dealer. They get it from another place, and it's like 30 minutes from my house, less than 30 minutes from my house. So I got 2 tons. I actually made a little bit of feed yesterday, so now I've got less than 2 tons, but it's in the stock trailer. I'm taking pigs to the locker tomorrow, so all of this needs to come out of the stock trailer first, and then we're going to talk about the farmers market. I've got a kind of funny story that I want to tell you real quick here. I've got the grinder mixer hooked up to the tractor, and you saw me just bring in these 2 pallets of soy meal. The funny story is this: a while back I did a video, quite a while back, I did a video where I was pulling over a chicken wagon that had blown down. I'll try to put a link somewhere above my shoulders here. But one of the comments that I got, not in the YouTube comments, but my uncle texted me. He watched the video and he said, unhook the grinder mixer before you pull over the wagon next time. Listen, I knew that I needed to back this grinder mixer in after I put this feed in, and I already had it hooked up. It seemed a lot easier to do it with that on the back. Good idea? Probably not. All right, farmers market season 2021. Let me give you the details of it. Our particular market had 27 weeks this year, starting with the beginning, the first Saturday of May, running through all the way to the last Saturday of October. Although our farm, Crooked Gap Farm, only did 26 weeks, I took a week off for the county fair. That's what I took the week off for the county fair. I just haven't figured out a way to do that. The weigh-in is on Saturday morning, and that's when the market is. We've got a lot of animals that need a weigh-in, pigs, lambs, things like that. So it's important to me to go with the kids to the county fair. So we took 1 week off. In the future, I would like to be able to find a way to do that, but for right now, 26 out of 27, it doesn't sound too bad. Also, you can tell it's getting a little cooler out. All the sheep, they're hanging out inside the shed today, where it's out of the wind, and I've got some deep bedding for them. As far as what we sold this year, we sold a lot of meat, pork being the main thing. We sold some lamb towards the end of the year. I don't know that we really sold any beef at the farmers market this year. We also sold jam, soap. Those were made by my wife. Jam came from the fruit on our farm. The soap came from our lard. And then ingredients from our farm and our friends. And of course, in season this year at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market, we also sold things like asparagus, rhubarb, and a few cherry tomatoes. All of those little extras added up as just nice bonuses for the sales. We sold eggs as well. I should not remember to forget that we did sell eggs because my kids, they worked hard on that project. Processing for us this year, which I realized I did forget about chickens. We did sell chickens this year. We processed those 3 times so far this year, I believe, and we've got one more processing date coming up on the day before Thanksgiving. But as far as our pigs and our lambs go, we processed twice a month, typically the first week, and then again on the 3rd week, took them up in the trailer. All of that went well. We most often did 8 animals on the first one, 4 on the second one. The problem with processing this year was that those weren't the only times that I went to the locker, which it's a 3-hour round trip to our locker. I also had to go back in the in-between weeks to pick up meat because we didn't have enough freezer room. Through the trailer over there is a walk-in freezer. That is a topic of discussion because I've got things going in on my brain that are just not making a lot of sense. But that's all to say this. Processing, it went well. Thankfully, we had all of 2021 scheduled, and even more thankfully, we've got in the entire year of 2022 scheduled. We're upping our processing, still going twice a month, but 8 animals both times through 2022. That's what I was trying to say. As far as getting to the market goes, this beat up, somewhat rundown Ford F-250 did an admirable job of getting us there. There were a couple times when we weren't able to take it. Once because I don't know why, and the second time because it was below 50 degrees. This truck won't start if it's not plugged in below 50 degrees. That is kind of a big problem. The back seat was used for taking market type of stuff, soap, jam, advertising stuff, signage. This is an upside down chicken sign, our price board, money box, all of that rode in the back seat, and typically I left it in all week long so I didn't have to load it every week. Everything else rode in this trailer. To be completely honest, this trailer was kind of a blessing and a curse. As you can see, everything fits in it really well. We've got coolers, we've got our small coolers right here and up front that sat on our tables. Our tables go in here, our tent goes down there, our weights. It all fits in here really well, but the biggest problem with this was dust. The dust, I could not, for the life of me, keep the dust out of this. The 6 miles, actually probably more like 8 miles of gravel that we had to travel every morning to the market and then on the way home from the market, it just piled up in here and covered the coolers to the point where I had to clean the coolers off every time we got to the market. It was just a hassle. It was kind of discouraging. Also, this is a small, cheap trailer, and it did not handle the gravel well. It handled the gravel well. We had some bumpy roads, and stuff is starting to break on it. Stuff is kind of falling off right here. We've got screws coming out of the walls on the sides, and I think even one of the fenders is broken just from bouncing around so much. All of that being said, though, like I said, blessing and a curse. We couldn't have done the market the way we did with the amount of stuff that we took without this trailer. So I need to do one of two things. Either figure out how to utilize this trailer best, find a different trailer. I'm not sure what the answer is on that one. I should probably say something about storing the meat. Again, we used these 5 freezers in our freezer room. Everything was kept in the freezers. As you can tell, towards the end of the market season, they are starting to get a little bit bare as we are balancing the market and selling whole and half hogs. It worked. I typically got up about 3 hours before the market started, came in here, packed coolers about 45 minutes, got everything else ready, left, got up to the market about an hour before it started, set everything up, and you've seen our market set up before. I'll put a link above my shoulders, whichever one it is. That's this typical setup we had every single week, and I liked it. I think that we made some, improvements with our market setup this year that helped our sales go up a little bit. That's probably the question most people are curious about when it comes to farmers markets is, did we sell anything? The short answer is yes, we did sell stuff. In fact, if I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you, we sold more than I expected to sell if we were to reverse back to February, March, when we found out that we were going to be doing the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market. We went above that level. The long answer is that after the first 2 months of the market, May and June, we actually didn't end up selling as much as I had hoped we would. I know that's kind of a convoluted, weird answer because when we found out that the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market was going to be open this year, it wasn't open in 2020, I was kind of wishy-washy. We had a really good thing going with the market that we started last year as kind of a stopgap market, and I kind of wanted to keep that going because that market provided for us the best sales that we ever had. The first few weeks of the downtown Des Moines market season in 2021, though, they were the best market weeks we'd ever had, or at least the best downtown market weeks we've ever had. Hi, Daisy. I think we would all agree that 2020 was crazy, and the same was true for our farmers market that we set up. When we started it the second week of May, which is when we started that market, I had the wildest farmers market day that I had ever had. It wasn't wildly higher than a couple of our high points this year in 2021, but it was wild because I took 3 coolers worth of meat and I literally came home with 2 packages of meat, a pork shank and a half a pound of jowl bacon. People were just going nuts trying to find whatever food they could at that time. I was selling stuff to people that I was sure they had never prepared before. And so that year was wild. That's all to say that this year we had some days that rivaled that day for us. And so in May and June, I was thinking, man, this market is going to be incredible this year. We're going to, 50% increase on what I was hoping to get. I guess now that I think about it, we actually did come close to a legit 50% increase from what I expected. and more than doubled what we did 2 years ago at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market in 2019, and even increased, a decent amount over what we did in 2020. So all in all, it was a really good year. The thing was that May and June were we were just hitting on all cylinders. We were selling a lot of stuff. A lot of different people were finding us. Our customer counts were really high. It was going really well, and I kind of had this idea in my mind that we would keep going all year at that pace, or maybe even pick up a little steam. It didn't fall off the planet, although we had one really just odd bad day a couple of weeks ago, but it went down, kind of evened out, and we hit a rhythm where we were selling about the same amount of stuff every week, just not as much maybe as I wanted to. Now, if I were you, I might be thinking, that's all great information, Ethan, but what I really want to know is how much money did you make? I mean, how much money can I expect to make at the farmer's market? That's the question that every small-scale farmer is wanting to know. So I want to tell you this. This is how much money I made. Honestly, I don't know if I am ready to share it. I really hate this about myself. I am going to be able to figure out how I want to share all the financials with you at some point, some way, because I think it's important to be transparent, to let people know, beginning farmers especially, like, what do you expect going to the farmer's market? I know that that's the question that I have in my mind with all the vendors at the downtown farmer's market. Like, are you guys making it? Are you making enough money at the market? What is a good day for you? What does it look like? And I want to be able to share that with you, but if I'm going to share that with you, man, I just want it to be a really good, well thought out video, and I just don't have that in my mind yet. I will leave you with this, though, as far as money and the amount of money goes. My mind says, and my numbers say, and my figures say, and my time says that I need to eventually be making at least $2,000 per market. Notice I said eventually. That will tell you that I did not get to that $2,000 per market number this year. In fact, if I'm completely honest with myself, I'm really thinking $2,500 to $3,000. Not maybe an average, but yeah, over $2,000 average is what I would really like to get to. And the reason I say that is because of this. Doing a farmer's market is just absolutely incredibly time consuming. Of course, no matter how I sold the hogs, there would be the time of going to the locker. That whole thing you're not getting out of taking the pigs there, but picking up the meat, storing the meat, and then of course there is the market days themselves, which in my mind takes 4 to noon, is a lot of hours, 8 hours, and then it's like a 10-hour day every single Saturday for 27 weeks. So time consuming, plus picking up the meat and sorting the meat and organizing the meat. It takes a lot of time, so you honestly have to make quite a bit of money at the market to make it worthwhile. In my perfect world, I would sell 200 whole half hogs a year, and that would be the mainstay of my business. Have the CSA, sell a couple hundred whole and half hogs, throw in some chicken and some lamb. That sounds really good. I might be able to get there at some point, but I feel like the market is part of my road to get there, because it did allow us to sell some more whole and half hogs this year, and it's helping us get along that path to where we can sell more of those. The reason I know this is because we quit the market for a few years and we saw our whole and half hog sales drop a little bit. So that is the story of our 2021 market season. Actually, now that I think about it, our 2021 market season is not done just quite yet. We've got 2 more markets, 2 winter markets, one November 20th and the other a couple weeks later in December, and they're going to be outside in Iowa at the end of November and the beginning of December. That could be really cold. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do a farmer's market, I would love to know how your farmer's market season went this year. Was it improvement? Was it low? Everything between 2020 and 2021 with farmer's market worlds, it's been up and down, and so I'm really curious how it was where you were. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the video, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We've got robotics practice to take care of.